Welcome to the Family First Retirement Podcast with George Politarhos. For more information, visit betrayowealth.com. Now, let's get to the show.
George, we're about 45 days away from the election. Anxiety is high. Emotions are high right now. From the families that you serve, are people worried? Are you getting calls from people saying, man, what is going to happen to my life savings? What's going to happen to my retirement if Trump wins, if Kamala wins? What are you hearing, George?
You know what's nice about that, Mark, is that when we sit with our customers and we have that plan in place, we're looking at the glass is half empty. Okay. I'm being that pessimist. I want to know about the worst case scenario. So we've been planning for increase in inflation, having emergency funds available. We're planning for taxes. Taxes are a huge concern. You hear me say it all the time, Mark. If you're not worried about taxes and retirement, you are making a drastic mistake, folks. If you have an advisor and he or she is not addressing this issue with you, they are doing you a misjustice. When you work with myself and my team at Betrayal Wealth, you're going to sit and meet with Ernie Calais, our strategic business partner and CPA in-house, because we're going to take the next step and plan how we're going to move forward, how we're going to position ourselves to be in the best place when it comes to taxes. Because let's be realistic, Mark, there's not a lot of things we have control over, right? We can't control the weather. We can't control our dogs bark in the background.
Right.
We can't control what the government's going to spend our money on, folks. But something that we have a little bit of a handle on is looking how we can prepare properly to minimize taxes in the future. You know, Mark and I talk before the show all the time about some things that are interesting to us, what we want to look at. Mm-hmm. Today, we've sat there, and the two things that we have to address every week from now until the end of the year, folks, you're going to hear us talk about TAXES. Taxes, taxes, taxes. My job at Betrayal Wealth, being the owner here, is to enlighten, educate, and inform you on what retirement looks like. And that is going to be about taxes. So do me a favor, everybody. You're out there driving today. It's a beautiful weekend. Fall's with us, thank goodness, right? If you are not going to go out and vote in a couple of weeks, kick yourself in the butt right now. Because if you're allowed to, you have to take that responsibility. And you need to educate yourself on Party A and Party B. People are worried. They hear things on one side saying if Donald Trump gets elected, taxes are going to go up. He doesn't care about the middle class. Hear things from the other side that if Donald Trump is elected or Kamala Harris is elected, they're going to change this or change that. How about we get online and we read what these people are talking about? Because we have a big problem coming up. End of September is really concerning to me. I'll be honest with you. We have a lot of trouble going on in September because we have a budget that needs to be passed. Mm-hmm. And we have people on the far right that have said if we are having any additional spending, we're not signing a budget. We have people on the far left that say if we're not increasing spending, we're not going to sign the budget. That is a bigger concern, if that's even imaginable, than what happens in November.
Yeah.
But the end of next year, the end of 2025, the Trump-era tax plan is sunsetted, which means it goes away. And if Congress doesn't get off their butts and start working for you and me, we have a drastic problem. And not that one person's right or wrong. In 2026, the tax plan will revert back to the Obama-era tax plan. And people don't understand what that means to us, Mark, because this is a drastic change to what things and how things are going to happen for us going forward. And a real quick issue. At the end of 2026, right now, a married couple filing jointly, if you do a standardized deduction, which about 90% of the population does, you get $29,200 of a standardized deduction for a married couple filing jointly. It will cut in half to $14,000 and change. Doesn't sound like a lot of money. I know it's only $14,000, but it is because it's going to affect your bottom line. When you have the tax brackets we're in, for example, right now you have 10%, 12, 22, 24, 32, and 35. And for those wealthy people, 37, which also happens to be a lot of small businesses if you don't follow that, folks. Well, it's going to change and go up by about 5 to 10% per bracket. So now you have a 10, a 15, a 25, a 28, 33, 35, and a mind-boggling 39%. The bigger concern, I hate to tell you this, the brackets, there's a gap, right? How much you make in a bracket, that bracket shrinks. So today, you make $168,000 being married, filing jointly, you're in a 22% tax bracket. In 2026, You make 150,000, you're now going to be in the 20% tax bracket. That's a huge change because at the end of the day, whose money are we talking about, Mark?
It's my money.
Your money. It's your money. It's your choices and your decisions. When you call me at 302-330-2166, we're going to address those issues with you. We are going to do something called a pro forma tax return with Ernie's help to see where you were last year, where we're going to be next year, and maybe we start talking about conversions. Maybe we start talking about planning and being proactive, because it's not so much about what happened last year. It's about what's going to happen next year and how we're going to keep your money in your pocket. Call me at 302-330-2166 or go to Patria Wealth. That's Patria Wealth.com. And let's schedule that no cost, no obligation meeting.
George, can we break down a misconception of something that you do for the families that you serve? So we say it every weekend here on Family First Retirement. We say, hey, if you've saved at least $200,000 for your retirement, let us help you customize a plan. Let's build upon your gains. But I think it's important to know that for those just getting started, we're not giving you our money. We're not giving you our life savings. We're not signing over our 401k to you. That's not what you do. I heard somebody, we were talking a couple of weeks ago to some people, and they said, well, don't financial advisors and retirement planners, don't you just give them all your money and then they take it and invest it? It's like, no, that's not even close to what they do. So dispel that misconception of when we come to see you and you begin building a plan, how that works.
I wish you gave me your money. We'd be having a beach house or something. But no, we're moving your money from your right pocket to your left pocket.
Mm-hmm.
We're making sure it does what you want it to do. Because we always talk about working 90,000 hours, right?
Right.
You work for 40 years, about 90,000 hours. My job is to make the next 30 years of your retirement the best it can be, the best that you want, your wants, needs, and desires. Because, Mark, your retirement is different than what Leslie and I want to do.
Sure.
We want to sit and we like to garden, we like to travel and be with our grandchildren and our boys.
Right.
Our family is important. But maybe some people want to take a trip around the world. They want to fall off the chart. And when we move your money and use your money for you to have the best retirement, whether it's having that balanced attack we need to have in retirement, because right now, folks, if you're in a 401k, if you're in a TSP, a 403b, you are all in the market per se. And what does that mean? Well, it means that at any given time, you can lose part or all of your retirement due to market fluctuations. We talk about the election, right? If you vote for Party A, the market's going to crash, you're going to lose your retirement. If you talk to Party B, the market's going to crash, it's going to lose your retirement. You need to have some safety in mind. You need to be able to sleep at night. And some of that retirement money is going to go, as we recommend, into a fixed index annuity. Not all of it. And if anyone tells you that all of it's the right move to go into an annuity, they're lying to you.
Right.
Because I love to eat, but you don't eat the whole damn pie at nighttime, right? You have to take a little slither, a chance.
Well,
eating the whole pie is good for you.
Depends on how stressed I am or if I've had some brown liquor. But other than that, no, you should not eat the entire pie.
So you have some in the fixed index annuity. And what's that annuity part? Well, it gives me my safety net. So I share in the upside of the growth of the markets. When the markets go up, I go up. But when the market goes down, I don't care because I can never lose any money. Now, do you get all the upside of the market, Mark? No. You share in the upside, but you have none of the downside. But some of that money, you still need risk. You still need to be that 18-year-old kid out there revving your engine up in the car and speeding around in the snow, doing the donuts in the parking lot.
I know, impress the pretty girls.
That's exactly right. But you still need some risk. And that's the assets under management. So we have a little bit more risk there. Where the markets go up, we share in the upside, and we outperform the S&P 500, historically speaking. And when the market corrects itself, we're doing better on the downside. So we're having a balancing act. And it really goes towards what you're comfortable with, because you still need some risk. We still need some opportunities. But that's what makes the Family First Retirement Plan so important, because it's not what George likes. It's not what Achilles likes, or Ernie likes, or Angie. It's what's right for you and what you're comfortable with. You know, Mark, we always talk to people about, I want you to be able to sleep tonight. I want you to put your head down and say, you know what? Everything's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important to us. And having that plan in place, not saying, oh my goodness, what's going on in Russia? Oh my goodness, what's going on with Israel? Who's going to win the election? If Kamala wins, oh my gosh, are they going to tax my 401k
Yeah.
when I don't have the real profits yet? Oh my God, Donald Trump wins. Are they going to raise taxes, take away Social Security from everybody? A lot of misinformation, but the plan is for you, what you're comfortable with, because at the end of the day, folks, you have to be at ease. If you've saved $200,000 plus towards retirement, you need to give us a call at 302-330-2166 and let us start that process of doing the Family First Retirement. It's really funny. I had customers come up from Atlantic City yesterday, and we're doing their retirement plan. And people think Atlantic City, that's pretty far away. It's not. We go all the way to Atlantic City, all the way to Rehoboth, all the way to Harrisburg. And customers come to us because they need the information.
Mm-hmm.
They want the education, and they need to have a plan to make sure they go in the right way. When we work with this couple from Atlantic City, we're working to help them build their plan. They're federal employees, he is, and she's not. She's a private sector. We're mixing and matching to build up their retirement so they can do what they want. They want to be the travelers. They want to try and go on a cruise every 6 months. And that's great. And we're going to help them accomplish that by having that plan in place. But the first step, Mark, is with you picking up the phone and calling. And be quite honest, if you've been thinking about it because it's summertime and we don't know what to do, enough is enough.
Yeah.
It's your retirement. You have to have skin in this game. You have to want to get better. I'm playing golf more, Mark. I don't know if I told you that or not.
Love to hear it.
Oh my goodness, the trees are really crying, but it's okay. But I'm investing my time in taking the practice, getting someone to teach me, give me the lessons, because I don't want to be that buffoon I am when I play golf right now.
Right.
I want to go and have some fun. I'm not going to be Tiger Woods,
Right.
but I want to have an enjoyable experience.
Sure.
So it's the same thing with our retirement. We are not going to be Warren Buffett. We're normal, everyday people. We think we are, but we're everyday people. My job is to help you have the retirement that you want, you need, and you desire. And whether that is spending every last cent you have with your last breath, or living the smartest lifestyle and leaving a legacy to your children, either one of those may not be George and Leslie's plan. Maybe you're in between where you want to do both and have a great life. But it starts with you calling us at 302-330-2166.
Are always available at betrayalwealth.com. George, you were talking about what do you want to do? Let me help you reach your desires and your dreams for retirement. And you said that one couple, they want to travel. They're from Atlantic City. They want to travel the country, travel the world. Did you hear about the 9-month cruise that just docked? Does that sound even fun to you?
That's insane. I get seasick. We went fishing. I got seasick pulling into the bay. And these people are going to be a ship for 9 months seeing the world. I would go absolutely stir crazy.
That just sounds miserable to me. Like, I guess it's cheaper than like an active retirement community, 9 months at sea.
The problem with that, when you're in an active retirement community, you get to walk off. You get to go into another place.
Yeah, that's a good point.
When you're on the ship and you're cruising around the middle of the ocean, you're walking from deck 5 to deck 15, and you see the same people. It's kind of, I would think it's kind of like the Groundhog Day.
Yeah, it's true.
Mentality.
In full disclosure, they did stop, I think, at like 60 countries. You're still getting to explore the world. You're not out at sea for 9 straight months, but still, yeah, after a while, that cabin is going to be small.
I love my wife, but I think I would drive her absolutely insane.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I'd be that guy that mistakenly fell over the edge of the boat. I don't know how it happened.
I don't know how it happened. I mean, but he said, we threw him a life jacket and he said, no, I'm good. 302-330-2166. But look, if that's your speed, if that's what your desire is for retirement, let's make it happen with the help of George Politarhos and the team at the Betrayal Wealth Group. Hey, let's continue talking about the most important aspects of governing a retirement plan, and that's long-term care. In that Family First retirement plan, tell us what we should expect and tell us how to prepare for long-term care.
Well, Mark, we always talk about educating, informing, and enlightening people. You know, we just said taxes are a huge avenue that we have to address. And when you sit down with me, you're going to get the black and white answers. Whether you like it or not, we're going to address this issue with you. Another one is going to be long-term care, along with Medicare and planning for health insurance. Right now, long-term care, there's about 48 million Americans who are being the primary caregivers of loved ones. So I'm taking care of my wife. I'm taking care of my mother and my father. It's hard on the family. And I have a customer, we literally just did the long-term care for both the husband and the wife because the wife had to take care of her father. And she loved it. It was a great thing. She loved her dad. She loved her mom. But she is physically unable to do this anymore. We need to think about this because we always talk about having the good news and the bad news. Good news is you're living longer.
All right.
The bad news is you're living longer. So we really need to address the issue of preparing it because when Leslie and I talk about this, we're young. We're late 50s. We're young people still.
Mhm.
We have another 35, 40 years to go. And I want them to be the best 35, 40 years we can possibly have. But I don't want my sons, I don't want Alexander and Jared to worry about mom and dad. What's going to happen to mom when dad dies? What's going to happen to dad if mom dies first? How are they going to manage? You need to address those issues. And there's so many options we have right now. There's so many opportunities we have for long-term care. Whether it is strictly a long-term care and you want to look at a lifetime payment so you can never run out of money for long-term care, we can build that plan for you. Or if you want to take a plan that's going to cover 5 years or 4 years, we can build that plan for you. And that's what it's about because the long-term care philosophy is not the same as you've heard this before. It's not your dad's Buick.
Right.
Quick synopsis here. 30 years ago, you'd buy a long-term care product. You didn't pay a lot for them. They were relatively cheap. But what happened, Mark, if you died before you ever used the long-term care?
It would go back to the company. You wouldn't get it.
Lose your money, it's gone. Well, why should I spend my money and gamble it? I can go to Atlantic City and gamble it.
Mm-hmm.
So long-term care products have changed where you have a long-term care product. If you die in a car accident or you die and you don't use it, the money pays out as a death benefit to your loved ones. Or you get to dictate how much I want to take out of this to cover my needs. Because we're here in Delaware, Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey, the whole East Coast, the whole country. In Delaware, we're looking at about $10,000 a month for long-term care costs for you to be in a long-term care facility. And that's being kind of, middle of the road. That's not the Ritz-Carlton and it's not the bottom of the barrel. That's $120,000 a year, roughly, not counting for inflation. I have customers say, well, I have money put aside. I have lots of money. I have $4 or $5 million. I'm good to go. How quickly does that money go away? That's what you have to plan for. You need to plan for the worst case scenarios about this because you want your children to remember you the way you were.
Yeah.
I do not want Alex and Jared to come and have to help me do X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
They would. And I'm blessed to have such great sons. Leslie did a great job raising our boys. But I don't want them to remember me like that. I want them to come over and spend time with me and have happy memories. I want them to come over and see their mom and love her because it's still mom no matter what, but to be able to have those good memories.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what doing this is for. This is really not for a benefit to your family. It's so that your kids remember you the way you were and are. The loving memories, not saying, good Lord, I don't want to take the phone call, right?
Right, yeah. I'm terrified for what happens on the other end.
But you need to take those steps to get there. And we'll work together, see which plan works best for you. We talked earlier, Mark, about some annuities. Some annuities give you a long-term care benefit. Some don't. So you need to know which ones we're looking at if that's a concern. But everyone's concern is different. Everyone's plan is different. And the Family First Retirement Plan is built around you, Mark. It's not built around George and Leslie. We're going to see what your wants, desires, and concerns are. You worry about long-term care. What's the other big concern people have, Mark, in retirement?
Running out of money.
Running out of money.
Yep.
We're going to address those issues. So when you call me at 302-330-2166 and we start that process, you're going to come in the office and meet with me. And we're going to sit down and begin the process of going through this path together. If you save $200,000 plus for retirement, and that's a 403B, a money market, CDs, savings, thrift savings plan, our federal employees, we love you, 401k, you need to pick up the phone and call us. And let's schedule your no cost, no obligation meeting because you've worked so hard. You did a great job in building this mountain of cash, this retirement plan. Now's the time to make sure that we manage it correctly to do what you want, how you want, and when you want. Because it's your retirement. Go call us at 302-330-2166 or go to Patria Wealth, Patria Wealth.com. Let's schedule that meeting.
Insurance and annuities offered through George A. Politarhos, Delaware Insurance License Number 1373121. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.